What up, everybody? It's the Designated Driver Podcast. I am Marcus D. Wiley, and I'm back again with my favorite friends, three pastors that I love, riding shotgun one more time. Apostle Charles E. Perry, Word of Restoration International Church. What's going on?
Man, I'm all good. Good
Y'all
to be
good?
here, Marcus. Yes, sir.
For sure. Over in the back seat by the window is my man from New Faith Church. You heard. Hi, I'm Clark. Right across the street from Beef and Bond. That's what I said. Is Beef and Bond still over there?
It's still open.
What's up, Dr. Andre Lewis?
What's going on, brother?
You all right?
Good, man.
Man, it's good to have you back. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
And then my main man, my boy. Ever since he been called to preach, life just ain't been the same. However, he's a good dude. I tell everybody, I would do a little jail time for him, but I don't like jail. It's none other. Pastor, Fellowship of Love Church, Lorenzo Ewan. How you doing, bro?
Good, man.
You all right?
Great.
All right, man. Welcome back, everybody. Today we want to be in with the old and out with the new. Last time I spoke with you guys, we were talking about the call. But now I want to know, for first things first. First thing you did as a pastor that was out the box for you at that time. First thing you did as a pastor that was out of the box for you at that particular time.
I think for me, the first thing I did that was I considered to be out of the box. Of course, both of them know whenever you have a groundbreaking, you're getting ready to build.
Okay.
So we didn't have the resources or the means to build.
Okay.
So I say, well, what can we do? We can have a groundbreaking. And so, so we had a groundbreaking. I mean, it was live. We had a groundbreaking. We turning over dirt, and a year and a half later, we started.
Oh my goodness!
Now, what was that? Was
that faith?
Was that faith?
That was our faith. That was our faith. Let's get started. Let's have a groundbreaking. Then take it out.
I may try that.
Somebody might give somebody.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what we did.
So y'all shook up that concrete.
Yes, sir. It was just as hard by the time we finally got it.
Oh shoot.
Talk to me, Dr. Dre. What's the first thing you did as a pastor that was out of the box for you at that time?
What was out of the box for me at that time was our minister of music died.
Okay.
And when he died, I didn't let no grass grow under my feet. I immediately, within a week, hired a praise and worship leader.
Ooh.
Within a week. And
how did that go over?
It went over well because I set it up.
Okay.
So I didn't just go into it. I kept dropping hints while he was in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew.
So them seeds,
I'm just being honest.
I guess.
Well, the thing about it is, I knew that if I had let too much time go, then I was going to end up having to always recycle that name.
Right. Gotcha.
And I wouldn't have been in a position to hire somebody else to come in.
Right.
So I had to hurry up and get somebody else in who I had my eye on at that particular time. So
I got you.
That was pretty. It was pretty out of the box at the time.
That's out of the box.
That's good though. Yeah. Because I'm surprised the family. He ain't cold yet. I mean, you know how the folk go.
I talked to the family first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, got their approval.
That is low.
I did something like that. It was different. We had a lady at our church, Sister Brown, who really loved her pastor. And at the moment we was trying to do a campaign. We was doing a campaign, and she was one of the persons at the church, man, who was she was a giver, a big time giver. Yeah. And her family wanted to do an offering at the funeral, raise money. At the funeral. I almost, as a matter of fact, it split my church. Ooh. Because people felt like I wasn't sensitive to her dying or passing, but it was something that the family wanted.
Yeah.
And it really, man, that thing, it haunted me for years.
Wow.
You know, trying to honor somebody's wishes, and you know what I'm saying, well, as a pastor, should I not? And we needed the funds, and that was one of the out of the box things that, you know,
Wow.
early on.
I got one for all y'all, man. I want to know, what do you, if anything, what do you miss from the church that you was in back in the day that you as a pastor don't do today, that you used to do or they used to do back at the old church that you now as a pastor don't do today? What you said?
The devotionals, the hymns, all of that.
You missed the you missed the 2 chairs up front with the deacons with the hip replacement.
As bad as I yes.
Guide me over.
Yes, sir.
Like great, yes, sir. And it's guide me, oh thou, great Jehovah.
Right. Yeah. And the songs, I miss all of that, man, because my daughter don't even know what a hymn is.
Right.
She has no idea what a hymn is. Never heard Amazing Grace. Never heard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on, you know, and the voice I hear fall. And she don't know none of those. And it's funny that I was a kid hearing those songs.
Yeah.
I'll be 48 this month.
Yeah.
I still know them.
Still know him.
I still know them. I don't know all the words to some of the contemporary songs that are out right now.
It's too long. It's too long.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
You think them too long? Them hymns was too long.
Yeah, but they had meaning.
So
but
I miss
that.
devotion.
I miss more the hymns than
The hymns. Like,
devotion.
okay, the hymn.
Yeah, the hymn.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of miss the devotion. It's been replaced now.
Yeah. With what?
Praise and worship.
Yeah.
Because, you know, back in the day, at least I know at the church I grew up in, they would sing about 2-3 hymns.
Yeah, that's how it
2
was.
people would about pray. Somebody read some scripture. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring a close our devotion. Now you're in the hand. You know, that's how they would do it. So quickly, devotion or praise and worship? Which one? Both, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could benefit.
I like praise and
could
worship.
benefit from both of them.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
I think there's some things that the traditional church had, man, that I think we still probably should implement.
No doubt.
We've lost a lot trying to be contemporary.
No doubt. Talk to me, Dr. Dre.
Deacon devotion.
The deacon devotion.
The deacon devotion. I used to love the deacon devotion because I think that set the tone for worship. So we did something different though. We just I tweaked it and just added elements of that. On first Sunday and then second, third, fourth Sunday we don't have it, but definitely first Sunday we implemented the hymns and the devotions.
I need to come
in
on
our
first
praise
Sunday.
and worship.
In the praise and worship.
I need to come to the new faith on the first Sunday.
Yeah, in the praise and worship.
To get this up.
So it's mandatory that we have a hymn every first Sunday.
I heard that,
we do Lord's Supper on that day.
What's your favorite hymn?
We're going to get to Lord's Supper in a minute.
Father, I stretch.
Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other help I know. So let me tell you this. So y'all must have some pretty good deacons over there, because I remember the deacons at my dad's church. They were some good deacons, but I ain't gonna lie. You smelled a whole lot of Cool Filter King, a whole lot of Benson and Hedges. You know, these boys got Holiday Inn pens. You be like, you ain't been nowhere. Why do you have a hotel pen?
We got a deacon. I got a list that I approve.
Okay.
Yeah. He can't pray. He can pray. He can't pray.
Oh, and then some of them get on their knee and would almost seem like they go to sleep.
Yeah. Not gonna get up.
Yeah, not getting up. Like, come up. You spend some time with the Lord during the week.
That's right.
This wouldn't be this long on Sunday.
That's right.
Talk to me, Apostle. What back in the day that you don't do now?
For me, I would say the call and response. You know, that was normally a responsive reading.
Yeah, responsive reading. Yeah.
So I missed that.
I missed that. I remember that responsive reading. Somebody shouted out there in the congregation, and then if it was a nice little church, they have it on the program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was on the program. Yeah.
Ooh, you just hope that they could read. That'd be the thing. You hope that they could read. Oh, Dr. Dre, you brought up something. You said y'all do Lord's Supper. But did you mean communion?
It's both. Yeah. I just use Lord's Supper though.
Well, the reason why I'm saying, and I want to get y'all take on this here. Well, see, we did Lord's Supper.
What's the difference?
Supper is. I'm gonna tell you my difference. I'm gonna tell you my difference.
What's the difference?
And the Apostle he may have dealt with it as well. Lord's Supper was first Sunday night.
Yeah, it was.
7 o'clock.
Yes, sir. 7 o'clock.
You would come back and watch this. You didn't have that little stuff that ain't FDA approved. That's when watch this here, the deaconess
The wives.
and the pastor's wives, they would go in there, crunch up them crackers, and they were prepared with the real, I don't know what it's called, but the actual china, the real dish, Yeah, it ain't in no basket. You just reach in the bed. No. Yeah. This was a supper. And you would have to come back, and everybody the women have on white, and they come put something over their head, and the men have on black. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The difference is, and then at somewhere I'm gonna say around the 90s, to my knowledge, we went from. When I saw it, it went from that to
communion?
Early 90s too. I'm talking about 90, 91. It went from that to now, communion, and that was taken in regular service.
It was a decline of attendance though too. I think the attendance in the night
doubt.
service caused a lot of pastors to move it to the day, which is what we saw.
And change the name.
And
The day changed the name of the actual
It was Lord's brunch.
ordinance.
No, we've always called it both because since I've been in New Faith, I've seen communion sometime on the program, and sometimes I see Lord's Supper.
Okay.
So I think they vacillated back and forth between Lord's Supper and communion.
Okay.
But it is the same thing, Doctor, right?
But it's the same thing.
Okay,
it's the same thing. It's
about to confuse
Want to
me.
be the same
Like,
thing
wait,
so bad.
it gotta be.
It's not.
it's the same.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I know I didn't go to seminary, but Lord's Supper, you have supper at night. We commune in the morning. Pastor, what you got to say about it? What's your take on it?
Well, I remember those, going back those evenings for the Lord's Supper, and as you were talking about, it's kind of morbid in a sense that they at the communion table, they would have the sheet, go up, and they go behind it. Yeah, it's kind of real sacred.
Yeah, it was very sacred.
Yeah, and but everyone,
white gloves.
Yeah, it was a lot of attention given to it, real meticulous, and I remember that, and so we do ours a part of our morning worship. We partake of the Holy Communion as Lorenzo mentioned. And that times we refer to it as the Lord's Supper, and that times we refer to it as the Holy Communion, but it's one and the same.
What about choirs marching in?
Boy, I remember that.
I'm just trying to give y'all something in with the old, out with the new. What's up with the choirs marching in? And that took 10 minutes. You'd be like, Lord, we finna be here all day.
I'm not doing that.
You're not doing that? You can't go back to that?
I'm against.
You against? We not even on that part yet. He already telling me I'm against.
I'm with Dre. More show than anything.
You thought it was more show?
Yeah, there was more show.
Yeah.
You thought it was showy?
Yeah, it was very showy.
Oh, it's very short.
It depends on, especially if Sister Joan was in she coming down.
Yeah, they would get their little shimmy on.
Oh yeah.
But I get show, but I also got people just enjoying being, at church, because this was definitely during a time where nothing was open on Sunday.
Right.
And that's why Pastor would preach 2 hours, because he felt like you ain't had nothing else to do. The mall wasn't open back then. I know when I was growing up, it wasn't open. Only thing was open was like Luby's, Piccadilly's,
Furs,
Sizzler, all that old type of stuff. Wyatt's.
But I remember those, man. They were. It was lit. It was live coming down that aisle, man. Depends on who in line. Like Lo said, depends on who in line.
It depends on who. And I didn't want to be in the line. That's probably why I'm against it, because I had to be in the line, and it was embarrassing a lot of times. I was a little kid up in the very front. I'm the first one having to walk out. I didn't like that.
So all, I'm sure you call everything at your church ministries. But once upon a time, they were auxiliaries.
Auxiliaries.
I remember that.
Things had changed. I remember, we have, this is a conversation that keeps going.
Yeah.
I hear people all the time, because I'm in all these different churches. You remember when they had choirs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a choir. but choirs, whether it was tiny tot choir, youth choir,
the male choir,
or mass choir, the male chorus, male quartet, four brothers that didn't want to be in the male chorus. They played
because they thought they was too good.
The you know, they coming out with their guitar, their own equipment, pass it in by these. You know, they sang on Mother's Day and all that. So you know, you had all that, but now we have a choir. If you have a choir, and a lot of churches have just went straight to a praise team. Now, what's up with that? I'm talking to the pastor. I want to know why they cancel the choir.
I can answer for me, but I'm gonna yield to the apostle.
What?
and then I'm going.
What? You gonna yield to the apostle? Have a choir and a praise team.
So I have both.
You have both.
I have
choir
both.
Praise team.
I have both because the culture of the church was set up on choirs.
Gotcha.
But I also think that everything has to be moving in a crescendo.
Yeah.
The key moment of worship is preaching. And so for me that's the climax, and then the invitation. And so if anything in our worship experience is making people do this, I cut it out. So I think worship, so the praise and worship has to be doing, so my praise and worship leader can't dominate the service. And if she's dominating, then we gotta have to talk. Because we everything got to be moving like this,
right?
And so when it's time for me to preach, if you done had everybody doing this, when it's time to preach, here's what they're gonna do to me. Yeah. So
I heard that.
One of the
I heard that.
One of the things that I can appreciate with the praise and worship is it gives the congregation an opportunity to actually be engaged and be involved in the worship experience. Whereas actually a choir, and we have a choir, but when you're listening to a choir, you're listening almost from a standpoint of being a spectator. I mean, you're watching. It's like watching a game, but in the worship, in the praise and worship, you have to be engaged. You have to be engaged. You can sit there and listen to a choir and never engage and enjoy it. But the worship, it's more designed to lead the congregation into the presence of God, or just to get them involved in the worship experience, and so I appreciate that about the praise and worship.
Hello, praise and worship choir.
I only have a praise and worship team, and I think the whole praise and worship phase wave came as a result of necessity. Smaller churches, you didn't really have a choir, and administrative frustration, because a choir can be very frustrating administratively. So a lot of drama happens in the choir. Can I get a witness? Most of the drama that you have in churches, especially smaller churches, is it comes from the choir. And so a lot of pastors totally eliminated the choir because you had too many people and too many personalities that you had to deal with. And so praise team kind of fit that mold. You only dealing with 4 people opposed to 40 people, 30 people. And so it made it that much more easier. So, I do miss the choir aspect of ministry. The praise team, a lot of times we can get so into just doing that type of music where it becomes kind of, and so I wish that I, had these doctors, and all of the people that they have, and have this big great choir to sing, and but we do strictly praise and worship.
Do y'all remember?
And I like.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, and also with that, I like good music.
Yes,
I love good music. I like a good band. We're gonna employ the best. I want a good band, and I like nice choirs. I mean, I want a good choir. And so that's my take on it.
Do y'all remember back when, whether it was auxiliary or ministry, whatever they called it? I remember when because I was in every auxiliary at my dad's church. You had to help the ministry. My dad would be like, if you don't do it, I can't get other kids to do it, and all of those type of stuff. And so what ended up happening, we used to have to pay dues.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Are you familiar with that? Paying dues, and they would call you at rehearsal.
That's right.
You got to do a scripture, so they'll call you up, you had to say, "In thee, O Lord, I put my trust," and then you go in there, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I remember that, and then sometimes even they would have a little Bible study, a little word that the president of the choir or somebody would give before rehearsal would even start.
That's right.
And I guess what I'm getting to is, do you think those type of things made the church stronger as relates to more knowledgeable with scripture and things of that nature? Because we don't have those in place like that.
Cell group, small group. I think we still have them. It's just we call it different stuff.
Okay.
You know, some ministries have ministries, cell groups, whatever. I mean, support groups. I think it's the same thing. I find that over the years, man, so much has changed, but so much has remained the same.
Yeah.
And we just call it different things. And so that whole auxiliary, my dad loved auxiliaries when he was a pastor.
Yeah.
When it came anniversary time.
Yeah.
Because each auxiliary had to raise.
They had to report.
It had to raise money.
Man, this is listen, I'm a product.
Yeah, I had to raise money. And
of the annual day.
Yeah.
Listen,
and that's when he loved auxiliaries.
When the annual day, Dre, like it was income tax time.
Yes, sir.
My daddy would tell me, "Hey, listen, just wait.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna see what the people gonna do."
Yeah. The auxiliaries.
But then that's when you had the little messy people in there. Everybody in there with a pen.
Yeah. Counting.
Counting. I said, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
You know, when I got a little older, I started noticing. I said, "What?" Hey, but they say, "Usher boy number 2. Usher boy number 2. $2,000. You see people over there just
Yes, sir.
they just tallying up the money.
What you
Yes,
keeping
sir.
up? They trying to find out how much money.
trying to find out how much money.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
And you know, so they had a lot of annual days, you know, from those different auxiliaries, you know, youth, but they would have all these things, and they would have these services, which would be in our put in gear, these 3:30 services.
Yeah.
It's 3:30. Matter of fact, why don't we do that now? Let's put this thing in gear. I want to know if you're for it or against it. We should neutral. We're gonna park. I know we're gonna park right here. Let me start. 3:30 service. Are you for it? Are you against it?
I'm against it.
Pastor, you grew up on 3:30.
I grew up on it.
That's why he against it.
I grew up on it.
You
And
was
we
against
did.
If you didn't get it at 12:30, 11 o'clock, you ain't gonna get it at 3.
Yeah. I grew up on it.
Right.
Yeah, whether we were back at the church or we was at another church.
At another church.
But
Yeah, man.
we're going somewhere at 3:30. We're gonna be
every Sunday.
somewhere every Sunday.
Yeah.
And you had to
Every
rush
Sunday.
while you was at Luby's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because we got to
be
be
in
back.
service.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we got to be.
didn't like
have
it.
to be back.
Yeah. So you're against it.
I'm against it. I'm against it.
Yeah.
I'm against it.
Against.
You against it, Drake?
Oh, God.
No 3:30.
No, that's a waste of time.
Oh my God! You got the old pastors right now are literally rolling over right now.
I'm gonna make him roll a bit more too, because I'm gonna agree. I don't want no 3:30.
You against 3:30?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm against it.
I mean, well, I was against it then, so you know I'm against it now. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
But yeah, so a lot of times, you know, I know every blue moon you may have to go preach one. You know, you'll go do some. You know, you as well. You too, Lo. You have to go preach one. But overall, we totally against 3:30 service.
Yeah.
Nobody was ever really there at them 3:30 services.
No, they wasn't. And matter of fact, even if I have to go somewhere now, it's going to be at 4.
Okay.
Or it's going to be at 5.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maybe a 6, something like that. But 3:30 is real tight.
Tight. It's tight. It's tight.
It's tight, man.
It's too tight.
You know, yeah.
It's
So
it's too tight.
And then folks start putting their anniversaries just in the morning service.
Yeah.
But the reason why they would do that back in the day was because the pastor that was coming, they wouldn't leave their churches in the morning.
no, no.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
But now they,
right.
you know, they will. You know, you all are more inclined to, hey, I got to go do such and such.
Right.
Yeah. I think churches now are trying to narrow down their services,
They really are.
especially with COVID and all that. I mean, we're trying to do less
Yeah.
They really are.
instead of doing more.
Okay, so we're all against.
Well, you know,
3:30.
because that's such an evolve where church is concerned. You know, at one point, it was the choirs. You know, you had a good choir.
Yeah.
You know, good preacher.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I think we went through that phase where, you know, people were concerned about their children.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got to be somewhere where they have somewhere for my kids. And,
Yes,
and then people start looking for places. I need somewhere where they got a good marriage ministry, you know, all that. And so things have just evolved. And so now it's so family oriented.
Yeah.
And so, like Lo say, you know, people are, you know, they're thinking more about their families now. And so we're kind of narrowing back and give people time for their services, their families, which I believe should be the reason why I think people should be more faithful now in the things of God and in church, because it's not like we have you here all the time.
That's right.
And so when we do have something, you should be here.
Preach. Preach, man.
That's true.
And even though that is true, that's not how most people operate. Because it's almost like if you have us here a lot, it's like, you know, they'll complain, but they'll be there. But if you say, hey, we ain't putting that type of pressure on you, that strain, then folk kind of like, you know, oh, okay, well, it ain't no big deal. You know, I got to go to church. Like, I'm a church boy. I'm going on Sundays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Can I ask this question?
Man, go ahead.
During COVID, are you guys experiencing that decline in attendance and people are more, you know, apt to go to or watch you online?
Well, for us, we've not gone back yet.
Okay.
And so we're in our phase 1.
Okay.
We have a 7-phase plan.
Okay.
For getting back into full worship.
Okay.
And so right now we're just in that phase 1 where we're doing everything online.
Okay.
All the different things we're doing online. And then coming up, as we start to transition now, start looking at let's kind of test the waters, do some things in the parking lot, see what kind of response we get.
What type of response are you getting?
And so, well, here's the thing. Now we have service coming up on the 18th in the parking lot called Praise in the Parking Lot. Now we plan to have one service, but with the response that we've gotten, we have to do 2 services.
Got to double up.
And so, so we have to do 2 services in the parking lot. Yeah, it's on the 18th. So we're doing 7:15 and 9 o'clock in the parking lot.
Wow.
And so we're just kind of seeing where things are as we transition back into full service.
That's good.
Sunday school, for it, against it, neutral.
I'm for it.
For it.
Sunday
for
school
it.
was good, man.
Sunday school was great.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And I think Sunday school now, I mean, for us, we don't have Sunday school, but at least for our children and our youth, we do have some things that kind of, supplement, for that Sunday school. But Sunday school, man, I loved Sunday school. Sunday school was great.
That's where I learned the Bible.
That's where I learned about
Sunday school.
I learned the Bible.
Yeah, man.
It's Paula the Rich.
Yeah.
He's a teacher. Man, I learned the
Do
Bible.
y'all still have Sunday school, Dre?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so y'all still have Sunday
people
school.
attend our Sunday school.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Between
That's good.
from about 9 to about 10 o'clock, quarter to 10.
Yeah.
1,000 people. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's-
so I would not get rid of Sunday school.
Yeah, that's good.
And then our kids too, they have Sunday school hour for them as well.
Yeah.
That's good.
We still have Sunday school.
Y'all still have Sunday
But
school?
we don't call it Sunday school.
Well, what do you call it, Lo?
Christian conversation.
Christian conversation.
That's creative.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
It's
that.
more
creative.
conversational than anything. But
Yeah.
we still that was a key, component in my life as a believer, a young believer, is having that opportunity to, dialogue
good.
with. So
Yeah.
I think we need it.
Christian conversation.
Yeah, because Sunday school, I know me and Apostle, we talk about it all the time. We had to get up and talk about what we learned when we go back
Right.
to the general to the general
We had to do
assembly.
that.
That's how I met my wife.
Yeah,
To
that's
make, to make sure you was paying attention.
Yeah, they sure made it in a line.
yeah.
Yeah.
In a line.
Yeah.
But see, I had to get up every Sunday
Yeah.
when they would say, "Let's get a couple of kids from the Euclid." I
That
would
was
sit
me.
there and wait to see who would go. Cats wouldn't go, and then my mom would be like, "Just summers get up." So I always had to pay attention.
That's how you learn the Bible, man.
I know, but I'm saying, but I had to pay attention because I didn't want to get embarrassed if I got up there and didn't have anything to
She's
say.
gonna front you.
Yeah.
So I had to say, get up. Yeah. Well, what I learned today was that, Abraham, no, he could have went the other way. But
Yeah.
He could have went the other way. Okay, let's keep it on that school. What about Vacation Bible School? Do you all still do Vacation Bible School?
Yes, sir.
And if you do, are you for it, against?
I'm for it.
I'm for it. It's a great evangelical tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tremendous tool because most of the kids that attend VBS for us are the kids in the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bougie kids at our church don't come.
They don't.
It's the kids in the community.
Yeah.
It's just the truth.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
That's how that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Now, I used to love at Vacation Bible School. Let me take y'all back. You know, of course, we had the little chants, you know, Father Abraham's, you know, the son had many sons.
Many sons as Father Abraham.
And I am one of them.
I am one of them. That's for you.
Let's just
Let's just praise the Lord.
you know,
Right on.
you know. So you had all these things like say my friends, have you seen 2 Timothy 2:15, 1 Thessalonians 5:22? It will tell you what to do.
You know that Bible. See?
Yes, sir.
See how you know that Bible?
Oh yeah.
It worked.
It worked. And so we would do this thing also. I don't know if churches even do this anymore. The Bible drills.
Man, come on.
Where you would line up on that side of the wall, line on that side of the wall.
Yes, sir.
And then, you know, they be like, Bible to your side.
Yeah.
Present arms.
Yeah.
And then the person you
That's
they'll
right.
tell you.
That's right.
And then you go to James 3rd chapter first verse, and then you always got a slick one that I already know it.
Yeah.
For God said, he ain't on the page yet.
Yeah.
He ain't on the page yet.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then the meals.
Oh God, yeah.
It was always kid friendly.
Yeah.
Frito pies, nachos,
Yes, sir.
hot dogs.
Yes, sir.
So just looking at that, you all still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still do
Bible
it.
school.
I just think that's dope. In my act, I talk about how I believe today's Christian. I want y'all to comment on this. I think today's Christian is a dumb Christian. Now let me explain. Not everybody. I'm talking about overall.
Right.
Because I was so inundated with programs and services. Sunday school, Vacation Bible School, BTU, 3:30 service. And then, like I say, at the auxiliaries, you had to say a scripture. They had a little study for you. I had to go to, back in the day, prayer and teachers meeting.
Sure.
So I just know a whole lot of, you know, I can't run them off like Apostle or you, Dre, or you, Lo, but when I hear them, I was like, oh yeah, I know, I know,
sir.
you know, I know this one. And so I think today's Christian overall don't know a whole lot of Bible compared to the Christian of old. So when I'm saying dumb, that's what I'm talking about. Not like they can't learn.
Right.
I'm saying they don't have this. You can't even say in your sermon, you got to do like David. I mean, like, what did what did David do? Because I don't know what David did. So what do y'all think?
I think there's I think the church as a whole does suffer from biblical illiteracy.
Okay.
There are a lot of stories. You know, when you see much of the preaching that you see, not all, but much of the preaching. I know Lorenzo and Dre and myself. You know, I'm going to, as you know, I'm gonna go to a text. I'm going to deal with that text. You're gonna understand the context. You're gonna walk away, whether it's a psalm or something. You're gonna walk away understanding the Bible when I come out of that.
Sure.
Versus what we see a lot of times, just kind of moving around, telling stories and all of that, and not really teaching people the Bible.
Okay.
And so it creates biblical illiteracy. And, you know, when you talk about Sunday school, BTU, and all of these things, we were learning the Bible. We were, you know, that Sunday school quarterly. We learning the Bible. Whether we're learning about Daniel, we're learning about you know, the Hebrew boy. We're learning the Bible. We're learning characters of the Bible. And a lot of times you don't get that now. That's my take on that.
Yeah. The church is so consumer. We're just trying. Most churches are just trying to get the consumer, not really trying to teach them the Bible. That's for the pastor to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really want to have to do that or know that.
Yeah.
If I need to know anything about the Bible, I'll just call on the pastor or pull up a app or something. And so I think all those things were put in place, man. It made us learn and know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it made us. And as much as I didn't like it, a lot of that stuff stuck.
Yeah.
And we're afraid to tell people to do stuff that they may not like, but may be beneficial for them.
Yeah.
But that's what
we're so busy trying to keep them that we're not teaching them.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Teaching the Bible,
And they're
challenges
Right, a
Nobody
lot.
wants to be challenged,
Right. And they're going to be a part of that falling away.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, sir.
And the Bible says it's going to be a great falling away. You know, so I think the other thing too is that guys and people who teach, you struggle between, do I want to be topical? Because if I'm topical, then I draw.
Yeah.
The draw is different.
Because I'm getting them what they want.
I'm getting them what they want. And
Yeah.
people who come to church have what I call a felt need.
Right.
They have they think they have a felt need. This is what I need.
Yeah.
But really what you need is to deal with this.
Right.
And so biblical preaching, exposing the text and not proof texting, which is what a lot of guys do,
For sure.
jump around various scriptures without context.
That's right.
So person to leave there, as Apostle said, with the idea that I know this scripture, but really the person who taught, they were just jumping around passages to identify with some topic, and it has no context.
There you go.
That's not good teaching.
That's right.
It's just not.
That's right. Well, and two, we're in that day where men will not endure
That's right.
sound doctrine.
That's right.
And so, and that word endure, it means put up with. And so some people, I ain't got to put up with this. I'll go over here where they just,
That's right.
because you don't want to put up with something that's sound.
Hygienic.
Yeah.
That's another term.
Watch this.
Sound hygienic.
Back in the day, I remember my dad, my grandfather, sermon topics were, it was dark. It was melancholy. I mean, even if it was about something good, it was just, the
Melancholy.
It was just, the tussle with peace. You like the tussle with peace. The tussle with peace. It was just like, whoa, it was, and so now I hear all these fly topics, and I want to know, do you think that's by design? Is that good? Is it not good? When I was in college, I tell this story. I was trying to get at this girl, and she's from Oklahoma, but they lived in Dallas, and they were attending this church in Dallas. I won't say the name. And I'm in her car, and her mom would send her tapes, back when they had the cassettes, the actual cassette tapes. Mom would send these tapes, and when she would send the tapes, the girl would have them all on the floor of the car.
Yeah.
So I'm getting in the car trying to holler at her. I pick up a tape, and the tape says, "The Thong Song."
Wow.
This is the topic of the sermon. The Thong Song. Now, here I am. If I can be honest, I know y'all pastors. I want to see her thong, but nevertheless,
Right.
I pick up the tape and I go, the thong song. I say, man, put this in. I mean, because this has intrigued me. Because I'm like, my daddy would never be talking about no thong song. And so I popped the thing in, and it was talking about Dave. He was dealing with David and so forth and so on. But I was like, and then I just started picking all these other ones up, with the portrait of a party pooper, and that was dealing with the prodigal son. I mean, when the one went out with the riotous living and came back, and his brother talking about the portrait of a party. But everything was just so fly.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so I want to know, how do y'all feel about it? Should you make those sermons, topics I'm talking about now, attractive, or does it matter to you, or what?
If you can. Some guys don't have that attractiveness. That's not their lane.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some guys use those topics to the reason why you looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You picked it up because of that title.
Yeah, I picked it up.
The thing is that the title versus the substance that's in it. Because you can have a killing title, but not be saying anything that's worth really listening to or hearing.
Yeah.
And so I think that it has to be, if you got that gift to be able to put those topics out there, you got to have something to say.
Okay.
I think it has to be both and I'm big on substance. I think the substance, because I've seen guys have titles that don't even match the substance. So like, why that title? Right. So I think for me, and then my predecessor, he didn't agree with those fly sermon topics. I remember preaching one time, and when I finished, he was like, where you get that from? You know, because I was probably 31, 32.
Yeah.
He was just, and I wanted to do something fly. I was a young adult pastor, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something different.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop with all of this, the euphoric movement of God.
Yeah,
That's the kind of stuff he preached.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of substance, real heavy.
Yeah.
But people would be lost. And so with that, there was always this struggle because some people wanted the fly topic.
Yeah, okay.
And his thing was like, you don't inundate the Bible with carnal foolishness. That was his thing. And I ended up taking that in.
I got you.
So I don't necessarily do them, but I do make sure that the topic has some kind of draw, a hook.
Okay. Hook.
Yeah. So I say both and.
Okay.
But you have to be careful. I would never do the thong song. It's not coming from me. Yeah, I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. So yeah, you ain't getting no thong.
I agree with both of them. Like I said, but I'm more concerned about the content, about what you're saying. You know, you have, it's almost like, okay, you have this fly title in a sense, and then you get it, and there's no substance, or it doesn't match the title. And so it's almost like, man, okay, I got hoodwinked here. Yeah. And so, but I think the titles, I'm okay with using certain titles, but I don't want to. I guess it depends on who you're trying to reach. Who you're trying to reach. Yeah. I most definitely wouldn't come up with something fly at my 7:45 service.
Okay, I got
people in that service.
Yeah, they gonna look at.
If I'm gonna do anything. Kind of fly. It's gonna be at kind of fly. Yeah. Because at the same time, and I try not to. I don't want to get carnal and fleshy.
Oh man, I done seen pastors now.
Yeah.
F you.
Yeah. See, I couldn't get away with that.
They talking about no, forgive you.
I can't get away.
But they saying F you.
Yeah, but see,
you said,
and then when I heard it, it said just tell the person next to you, just F you. Right. F all y'all. So what does the average congregation think about when you say that?
Context. I think knowing your audience also.
Yeah, knowing your audience.
Size don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody hear that? Shoot, I don't know what he talking about.
Size does matter.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all two questions. I'm gonna give you two more. We're gonna get out of here. The first one I want to know, what is your easiest subject matter to preach about? And then what is your most difficult to preach about?
Wow.
If there's one.
Well, let me go first and I'll let the doctors cover it up.
Okay.
I think my easiest subject to talk about is going to be love.
Okay.
Because that's who we are as a church, Fellowship of Love Church. I think it's an indictment to say you something and then not be able to talk about.
They be hating over that.
You know what I'm saying? So love would probably be the thing that I like to talk about, the thing that is easiest to talk about. The difficult subject, probably anything out of Revelation.
Out of Revelation?
Yeah, for me.
Okay, the book. Okay.
Yeah, for me. Anything out of Revelation is probably for me.
Okay.
Christology is the easiest subject for me to talk about. Anything.
Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, because I know they know what you're talking about, but
study of Christ.
Yeah, okay. I was about to ask, was it the study of Christ? Yes. But hey, all this, don't be trying to do me on my podcast. Right. Christology. I'm about Christyle. I know you know something about that. Christology.
Get it?
Okay, the study of Christ. Okay.
Anything dealing with Christ, the hardest subject to talk about is homosexuality, because there are so many Christians now who feel like that's their business. Stop talking about it. Wow. And there are a lot of Christians now who feel like, they're desensitized to it. So it's like, that's my homegirl, that's my homeboy, they gay, but leave them alone. They going to heaven. You sin, and so it's that whole mentality becomes the issue.
So Doc, is it difficult to preach, or people don't want to hear it? Do you have a hard? I mean, is that difficult to preach?
I think it's not difficult to preach. I think it's difficult to overcome the barriers people put up.
Yeah, I think because maybe I want to hear it makes it difficult.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a subject yet.
See how deep he is. See,
That's being.
You see, bro. You got me. Get me with the other pastor. You got me with the wrong crew, man.
But I came up.
I'm just a normal dude, man. I'm not. Don't put me with these.
But see, I came up under somebody where, Dr. Winwood, you had to preach the whole Bible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So his philosophy,
The full counsel.
right?
Yeah.
The full counsel. So his philosophy. So if I preached, his thing was stop preaching on praise. That's easy. His thing was stop preaching on worship. That's people going. You trying to get rise out of people.
Yeah, that's
let's deal with so and so and so and so, or let's deal with so and so and so and so. Let's deal with marriage. Let's deal with divorce.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. So his argument has always been, and again, like I told you, he didn't teach me nothing, but he taught me a lot.
Yeah, I got you.
In not teaching you, he taught you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a subject matter that I think is too hard or I have an issue preaching.
I mean, just one of them. You can preach it, but it's just one of them things. Like, put it like this: like if I get booked at certain places, right? And sometimes I'll be like, oh man, they pay so well, but I don't. But I just don't. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Man, I go do my job because I'm a professional. I mean, I'm gonna do me. But just one of them was like, so I mean, like with the subject matter, Apostle, talk to me.
Faith and what else?
I got it.
What faith and what's the
Faith,
vision.
vision,
You
and
want to hear about
restoration.
faith, man?
Faith, vision, and restoration. What's difficult for me, and Pastor Lowe said, I'm sitting there thinking when you asked the question, end times.
Yeah, man.
In time.
Yeah.
We can call Dr. Dre. If we need anybody to come preach in time, we just gonna call. Let me get your phone number before we get out of here.
Yeah.
You premillennialist?
Yeah, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean, there's a whole lot in it.
Yeah, putting it all together.
Yeah.
That would be difficult.
Horses
Be
and
done.
all the
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
putting all that,
all of
making it
that.
all make sense, man. Like
Yeah.
what
It's
is
funny,
what is
nobody
what?
said finances, money. And the reason why I'm saying this is because my old pastor, he did not like preaching about money. He just didn't like it. That was just his thing. He just
I
can get that too, but that's not the
did not
thing.
like it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this in response to that. Now, Water Restoration is going on 20 years.
Right.
In March 21, 20 years, and very blessed. Stable, prosperous church, doing a lot of things. But now watch this. You cannot find 3 messages where I've taught on money. You won't find more than 3 in 20 years. And we have substance.
Right.
But see, if you preach the kingdom,
The finances will come.
that's right. You preach the kingdom, you explain the kingdom, and you go after the kingdom. Everything you need
See?
will be added. I mean, Marcus, you guys are there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I receive offering in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we move on.
We gone. Yeah.
I don't give no scriptures. No, it's giving time.
Yeah. God loves a cheerful giver.
and she'll forgive us. Love giving. We're gonna give. Boom. We gone.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
But see,
That's appropriate.
yeah. But see, it's stewardship.
That's right.
It's stewardship, and when you talk about stewardship, you're talking about more than money.
Right.
Stewarding your time, stewarding your body, stewarding your life, stewarding, because that's all we are.
Yeah.
Are stewards. And so yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem talking about. I just don't. I preach the kingdom, and people understand.
Yeah.
And they respond.
I'm gonna get y'all out of here on this one, and I want your honest opinion.
Okay.
I want your honest opinion. I want to know. Ooh, this is a tough one. Your sermon time limit. I know y'all hate putting yourself in a time prison. I want to know how much time do you like to preach, and what time do you think is an appropriate time for a generation with us? On to the next one generation. I mean, if somebody just walked by, attention span gone, in got their phones. Some taking notes, but in the midst of taking notes, they texting. So how long do you? Let me start there. How long do you give yourself to preach on Sundays? Low. How long do you give yourself to preach? I ain't talking about doing COVID-19. I'm just talking about in general. How long?
35 minutes.
35 minutes. Dr. Dre.
25.
25. Apostle.
What's the question?
Was that a setup? That was a setup.
Listen, I was waiting for him to say something like, 25. I was about to say, man, if you don't get out of here.
How much time you need, Apostle?
Low, you said 35.
Probably about 45.
You said 25.
Yeah.
Apostle 45.
I can do 45, but I try to stay under 35.
Yeah.
It's also you train. It's a culture that you teach at your church. And so people,
and I think it has a lot to do.
Because 45 go by like this.
But
it's 45
when you're saying something.
Yeah, you have to be saying something.
When you're saying something.
He giving it to you. But I'm just saying.
And because if I went somewhere, that would be my question to the pastor.
Okay.
How much time?
What do you normally preach? How long you normally preach? Yeah.
Gotcha.
How long you normally preach? Because I want to respect that, because that's what your people are accustomed to.
Yeah.
And that is, oh no, Doc, don't do that. Give me a time. Give me a time. And I respect that time.
25.
Yeah. And I
You give
respect
25.
that time.
25. Now, Rudy McKissick is probably the only one that comes to New Faith and preaches an hour.
Yeah, he
started that before I became pastor. And the culture for him is an hour.
Okay.
But Dr. Williams preaches 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So I added 14 minutes. Yeah. 20 minutes. So
That's how long he preached.
Yeah, about 14 minutes. Yeah. Doc is done.
Yeah, I know a couple of pastors. They about 15.
Him and Joe Ratliff.
They know Ratliff. They ain't no real quick.
Wow. Doc is. Yeah, he 1, 2, 3 and done. And our people were accustomed to that. So when I came along, and I was doing 25 and 35 minutes, it was like, he too long. No, seriously, they were like sending in emails, he too long. I mean, he was good, but he too long.
But he too long.
Yeah, why he so long? It was in the document.
And that's crazy. We would have killed for a 25, 30-minute sermon back in the day.
Especially a smashing one.
What?
Yes, sir.
Man, my daddy, when he preach an hour 25 with ease, he don't start. What? First of all, he closing. He been closing. Like it's like Wilson's leather. He been closing the store for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. On my way to my seat, then he gonna hump. Then you got to kill Jesus. You got to resurrect him. You got to let folk know he coming back. I mean, that was no matter what he was preaching. That's how I'm ending.
Right.
And that's 20 minutes right there.
What do y'all think about that as pastors? Have we lost that art to take Jesus to the cross? And do you think it's necessary or not? What do you think, doctors?
I think if you're preaching, I think every message has to have a Christocentric focus. Right. Christ has to be at the center. So if Christ is the center of everything that you're preaching, then I think you don't necessarily have to go to the cross on every sermon. Okay. But if your sermon is absent or missing Christ, then I think you have to in some ways tie in that third point or in a conclusion something pertaining to Christ within that message flow somewhere. Because I think that has to be...
That's the good news?
Well, it's not even that for me. I think you have to tie people into Jesus at some point. Yeah, at some point you have to tie people into Jesus. And I think enough of the Old Testament and New is Christocentric. It's moving towards him. So if you can't get people there, at least in your context, you ought to be able to get them there in your point.
Okay. I'm gonna let y'all go before I get called. Man, I appreciate y'all rolling with me on the Designated Drive podcast. I want to say thank you again, Pastor Lorenzo. I'll keep in touch with you, follow you, and all that good stuff.
Fellowshipoflove.org or Instagram, Facebook.
There it is. Dr. Dre.
NewFaithChurch.org, Instagram or Facebook.
Apostle Perry.
WRIC.org and all the social media platforms. Word Restoration.
Man, appreciate you, brothers.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for having us.
Peace.